lesson number 3, cross back or Ocho Milonguero.
Yes, sometimes there's a little bit of the confusion. What do we call Ocho Milonguero? In this case, we are referring to a back cross as a replacement of the Ocho back that is danced typically with the pivot. So in other words, if we're dancing on the axis, it's quite easy to lead the pivot and it's easy to respond without losing the balance or connection. However, if you are dancing with your partner sharing the axis, or call it milonguero style, or call it close embrace, or even if you go a little bit more extreme, you could call it apilado, a little bit of the pile up, then leading a back cross becomes a much more reasonable idea because the axis of the woman is shifted towards the leader. So any attempt to make a pivot creates uncomfortable position and maybe even you feel that you are losing the balance.
Yes, it's very difficult to maintain the contact while turning the hips for the lady.
Now, we can also say that without an element like this, you cannot survive in the milonga. It's really essential to be able to lead and to follow this idea. And what I mean is, to lead is one thing and to follow is another thing. Maybe a lady was taught in school that you have to always make a pivot when you are stepping backward into this position. And so the leader is trying his best not to lead the pivot, but the lady is wiggling the tail, overturning and rotating each time. That feels like too much unnecessary energy. We must learn to respond properly to the amount and the type of the lead that the man is proposing. In this case, cross back is best to be trained separately by the ladies and then practiced with the leader. I'm just going to give a quick tip to the leader, and later in the exercises segment, Elvira will show ladies more specific details. So, for the leader, once I begin to step to the side and change my weight and then carry the lady into the idea of the cross back, I will not do this movement, 1 and 2, no rotational movement necessary. Instead, I will do the following movement. 1, uplift your lady a little bit to keep her on the axis. Go slightly diagonal and carry the lady with you each time you shift the weight, avoiding this movement with your torso. So it looks like when I'm changing my weight, I'm slightly progressing. It's easier for the woman if you do that. And the movement of my torso is minimalistic, if any at all. Let's now demonstrate how it looks together with Elvira Lambo. Embrace, prepare, cadencia, open step, change weight. I go slightly diagonal on the first step, 1, and then 2, 1, and 2, 1, and 2. We can rotate 1 in the room, 1, and 2, 1, and 2. This movement is very calm, very contained, and very milonguero.
Yes, it's very important that Michael is not dancing the rotation that he was talking about before. And remember that even slight movement will create the movement in our hips. So try more to think that you move your lady from side to side. And for us ladies, what I feel, that Michael moves my axis and moves my hips, and I just step with my free foot under my hips.
Now, one quick word about cadencia that we studied in the first lesson. If I go with a beat of the tango, 1 and 2 and 3, then the cadencia, the moment of flexion of the knee, will fall in between the full beat. In other words, 1 and 2 and. So you have more or less even movement. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and so the moment of bringing feet together and flexing the knees falls in the middle. But we can also use this count 1 and 2 to create double step or double time. In the milonga it is called traspié, or you can say contratiempo, doble tiempo. I will use the double time to enter by stepping with my left, left and left. If I go with a double time, there is a lesser chance for Elvira to attempt to change the weight because I carry her through her axis, not giving her an opportunity to accidentally step with me into this structure, double time. Yes, this structure exists, we even teach it in a milonga, but we will avoid it for now. For that reason, I go slightly diagonal on double time. After that, what should I do with my feet on the mark end? 1 and 2 and 1. Look, there is a little bit of cadence here and I bring my feet together. This is a natural way to dance because when I dance cadencia, I also allow Elvira to comfortably flex her knees.
And the moment when Michael flexes his knees, it releases my free leg to move. So when I'm going down, my free leg is ready to move. Ready to move. When I'm up, I'm standing on both feet.
Buenísimo. One of the variations of this movement, just for fun and just for practice purpose, would be for the leader to only shift his axis. This will teach you how to manage the lead by moving your axis and not thinking about your feet so much. I will show you this slightly funny looking idea. Let's do it slightly different angle so you can see that I am still flexing my knees but I'm not closing my feet and I'm not moving in space any longer. So there is a little trick about this movement. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. What is it that you feel when I lead this idea?
I feel that my movement is actually more compact than yours. So I feel your step is wider.
So my base is wider, Elvira steps inside my frame that I set with my feet.
I also feel that you are very, very stable. And
Yes.
gives me a very stable, constant support.
And also, because I'm not traveling, I need to replace the signal of traveling with a slightly circular lead. Each time I lead Elvira out of the cross to the next cross. So you can see my axis moves a little bit like figure 8. I move slightly forward to the ball of the foot, then move to my right foot. Slightly forward to the ball of my foot, then slightly to my left foot. So it's a little bit of this if I exaggerate. I cradle the lady in a figure 8 shape. But the figure 8 is not happening in my torso. It's my base and my hips and my spine that's moving this way. Let's see. First time, of course, I'm going to change weight to mark the beginning of the sequence. And then tick, tack, tick, tack, tick, and I'm going to close my left foot, change my weight, and exit. And this is the exit we are going to try, also with a normal, typical way when the leader is moving. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and now 1 and 2. So using the double time to enter, double time to exit for the leader, keeping your lady strictly on time. Avec musique.
Avec musique.